Hello and welcome to video number 8, and let's talk about blog creation. How do you go about creating the blog posts now that you have a list of different topics that you might want to create? Should you use videos or should you use articles, or how long should they be? Now, if you took a look at the BuzzSumo examples in the previous videos, you notice that the articles were pretty long. They were about 1,000 to about 1,500 words for an article. And that's pretty much standard nowadays. But if you can get to a point where it's like 2,000 articles and you have a video, that actually will keep the retention rate of somebody who lands on your blog. So that's the recommended thing to do, is to create an article, and you can outsource this if you want, but I would recommend you actually try to create the blog outline yourself, because if you're passionate about it, it's going to be easier. And one little tip that I have to say to speed up the process is be using something like your iPhone. So like an iPhone, it has something called Siri, and Siri allows you to voice your thoughts on your notepad, and you're able to create an article at a really fast rate. Now, obviously, grammatically, everything might be incorrect, but what you can do is you can do that on your iPhone or your smartphone, or even Dragon Naturally Speaking, to create the article, and then you can send it to a proofreader. I create the articles and then I send it to the proofreader, because that allows me to be creative, that allows me to just push it all out, and then it allows somebody else to do the grammatical checking and the spelling and all that to make sure that it actually flows. Now, once you're done with that, what you can do next is you can head on over to places like Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com, and you can hire people to actually read your article and get them to turn it into a video. So essentially what you're doing is the video is the same as the article. And what you can do is you can add images, and that way you appeal to the visual audiences, the kinesthetic, and the auditory learners. There's 3 types of people and 3 different types of learning. So that's what I recommend to you. Now, as far as what the blog post should be about, well, I'm going to show you what we call the backward blog creation strategy. And I'm actually going to take an example. I'm going to show you how to write the article, or at least outline it to the point that you can do it all in less than 5 minutes. All right, so let me go ahead and show you that right now. Okay, so the reason why I call this the backward blog post strategy is because what we're doing is we're moving backwards, if that makes sense. And it'll make more sense once we dive right in. But as you can see here, what you're trying to do is you're trying to find an already proven blog post. We're not plagiarizing, we're not copying anything, and just want to get that out of the way. But what we're trying to do is we're looking at what is proven and extracting from that and making it more specific, making it more unique, and making it better, essentially. So we find that proven blog post, and then what we do is we can break it up. So this one proven blog post could essentially become 10 or 15 or 20 even smaller blog posts that are actually more specific. So let me show you this in action. This is super easy to do. We're not plagiarizing by any means, so I just want to make sure we understand that and that is clear. So let's move on and let's talk about lowering cholesterol again. So lower cholesterol foods. You notice that in the previous search that we noticed that a lot of foods, a lot of natural remedies. So let's kind of focus on that, because that seems to be what people are searching for. So let's just type in lower cholesterol foods and see what we get. So if we scroll down, we can see top 12 foods that lower cholesterol. And you'll notice this, a lot of articles are moving more towards 12 things or top 10 things that lower your cholesterol, or top 10 different types of cardiovascular exercises that allow you to lower your cholesterol, or even top 10 foods that you can still eat that are tasty that can lower your cholesterol. So let's just click through here we'll click this one here, and let's just start from there. So as you can see here, it says 12 foods that lower cholesterol naturally. Now, if we take a look here, we can see that it lists different types of foods. So different categories of foods like oats, we have red wine, we have salmon and fish, we have nuts. Now, we can see that while this is great and all, we can go more specific. So the question is, how do you go more specific? Because obviously the more specific it is, the more interesting it is sometimes, but at the same time, a lot of times, it'll actually boost your authority simply because people feel like, okay, you've actually focused in on very, very specific details. So instead of saying like the top 12 different foods that lower cholesterol, what you can do here is say, for example, fish. You can say the top 10 fish that actually lower your cholesterol, or top 5 fish that lower your cholesterol, top 5 types of nuts. Because as you can see here, there are many different types of nuts. There's our pistachios, for example, that can help lower cholesterol. And there are many other types like almonds that can help as well. So try to go through here and just break it down. So let's just go here, and we can see here that it's talking about nuts, oats, red wine, salmon or fish, nuts, and let's scroll down and see what else. So we can see teas, we have beans, we have chocolate, we have margarine, and we have garlic and olive oil. So there are actually other olive oils or types of oils that can lower cholesterol. So we can do oils, and let's just start with that. So obviously oats are oats. Red wine, there might be different types of red wine. So maybe we could do top 5 types of red wine, or top types of fish, top 5 types of nuts, and top 5 types of oil that lower your cholesterol. Now, indirectly, what you're doing here is, even though it is very, very specific, you're actually helping Google figure out what your site is all about. So there we go. From this one article, we were able to create 4 different articles. And because it's all very consistent, all we have to do now is we can go back to Google and type in, let's say, top beans to lower cholesterol. So right off the bat, you can see eating a cup of beans can lower your cholesterol as much as 10%. So we have navy beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, black beans, and chickpeas. That's already 3, 4, 5. So there you go. So you can easily find other articles out there that are based on these articles. So you can hire an article writer. Of course, there are many different places that you can go to hire article writers. Fiverr.com, that's Fiverr.com, is one good place to go to. And another place that you can go to is Upwork.com. And you can find very high quality article writers, and really all you need is a few. Just start out with one. And then, of course, as you expand, you can hire a few more. But what I like to do is I like to hire a couple first and see which ones I like, their writing style and how well they work with you. And then you can outsource it. Or you can either do it yourself and very, very easily do it because you have it's more specific. The more specific it is, the easier it is to write. So for example, going back to nuts, we have number 1, pinto beans. Number 2, navy beans. Number 3, 4, 5. So all we need is 3 more, which we have those. So kidney beans, chickpeas, and butter beans. So all you have to do is simply hand this to an article writer and say, hey, I want you to write an article on the top 5 types of nuts that lower your cholesterol. And I want you to cover the what and the whys. So basically, this is how it goes. As far as writing blog posts to make sure that they convert, you always want to cover the what and the whys. You can cover the whens, that's fine, but you don't really want to cover the how. The how is the solution. So the solution is a how, and that essentially is what you are trying to get somebody to buy your product, is the how. So you get people interested in lowering their cholesterol. They learn about the what's and whys, and now they need to learn how to do that. All right. So that's how to create a high converting blog post at a very, very fast pace.